Good morning.
Good morning.
You're making it harder to guess where you are today.
Yes, and I looked for the most generic thing to put
Background.
behind me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You have to guess where in Disney World is Heather. I don't know if we're going to have enough context clues to figure this one out.
Yeah, I might turn around to make it easier. Do you want me to
Okay.
do that? You want me to turn around?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're going to
Let me
keep
get
it a
let me sit
mystery.
back down.
There's a little music. Maybe that
Yeah.
gives a little clue. We'll
Yes.
see. But anyway, you have been there for a while.
44 days.
hmm My math is every day at Disney World counts as two. I think other people feel like it's the opposite. Like it
Uh-huh.
goes too fast, but to us, every day feels like two.
Every day feels like two. And this has really felt like I feel like I'm on trip 3 because I
hmm
had race trip and then I had, like 36 hours or something, 48 hours non-race trip where it was just like taking my friend who hasn't ever been to Disney World without her kids, doing like Disney World, like
hmm
you do Disney World, lightning lanes, all that stuff. And now it's pure work mode and doing the work stuff. So I'm on trip 3 of this 84-day trip.
Yeah. In April, you have three. You have Disney World, Disney Cruise, Disneyland back to back.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We're not talking about April yet. I'm still trying to mentally prepare for that one, physically
uh-huh.
prepare for that one.
That's a bit of a marathon. I did what was 2024. I did a few of those back to back to back, and it is tiring. It's a lot to
It's,
pack for. It's
yes.
like the longevity of it is difficult. So
Yes.
anyway, Heather's still at
Yes.
Disney World.
Still at Disney World for today, tomorrow, come home on Thursday, and then hopefully get some sleep.
Yes. Yes, yes. So anyway, if anybody has any guesses where Heather is, feel free to comment those. We normally talk about the news, but there is none. But I do want to talk about one little rumor. We don't normally talk about rumors, so just it's a rumor, it's a rumor, it's a rumor, it's a rumor. But there's a lot of chatter about the possibility of Magical Express returning.
Oh,
And
yes.
I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is, how will you feel about that?
I feel pretty good about it, I think.
hmm
I feel like this would be a way for Disney to extend some perks without probably costing them a whole awful lot.
hmm
I feel like that's a positive. I think there's been a lot of discussion about how it helps out the airport, how
hmm
it helps ease some of the pressure on them with in regards to all the people coming through and the bags and everything that they have to deal with. So I feel like it could be a win-win-win. My only caveat to this will be if this is yet another free perk that gets a price tag attached to it. That
hmm
is very difficult to swallow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking if they bring it back, it'll have a fee.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would just be excited if they brought it back. I think they were silly to remove it with the Universal expansion because it's like,
Oh yes.
don't you want to trap people?
Uh huh.
If you're
Yeah.
starting to make us think about renting our own cars or how to use rideshare, if for
Hmm.
people that don't normally use it, etc.
Yeah, for real. So we will see. We will see what happens. I do think that if they do it, I would be more inclined to use it than I would be inclined to use Mirrors Connect. And there is zero reason for that. Like there is zero reason why I feel that way.
Well,
But that's
I
kind of
think
what I feel like.
I think if it's Disney owned officially, even though it was operated by Mears
Hmm.
before, it feels like it starts your trip right
Yes.
there at the airport, as opposed to now we're getting on a bus
Yes. And
and,
I
and
also I also feel like it's different too, where you don't have to leave the booking platform, where you're doing it all under like one canopy versus like Mirrors Connect, where you have to leave the Disney World booking website and then go someplace else, make the booking there. I think that plays into my mental things too.
yeah, but it would be great. And they've been bringing some stuff back, so
Hmm.
maybe they'll bring it back with a fee, which isn't as fun.
Yes, but
But it, but anyway, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. But I would love for that one to come true.
did you just see me just get attacked by this leaf?
Did it hurt?
No, it was
Does
very
that leave a
violent though.
clue where Heather is?
We had this one leaf.
Does anybody know where they grow that kind of tree or plant? No. Anyway, but we were gonna talk today about if staying on site is worth it at Disney World because we've done a bit of both, and there are pros and cons. And for people that
Uh-huh.
are planning, just wanted to throw out some ideas. So I thought I'd throw out some categories, and we can talk about on-site versus off-site.
Okay.
So let's talk about the room rates on-site versus off-site.
Um, you pay for location if you stay on site.
Hmm. But the on-site prices are usually it can be higher
Yes.
for the same kind of accommodation.
Yes, for that's what I mean. Like, you're inside that circle closest to Disney. The prices are going to be higher because of that.
Yeah, so if like people trying to figure out how do I fit a trip within my budget,
Mm-hmm.
offsite might be a consideration because the room rates are lower,
Mm-hmm.
but there are some other fees to consider as well
Yeah.
because you lose some things when you stay offsite. Um, but also related to this is the ability to use like credit card points or hotel points when you stay offsite.
Mm-hmm.
So, that can be advantageous because
Yes.
you can't do that at Disney so much.
No, there are no reward points that you can use at Disney World. You don't get to collect them as you do multiple trips.
I wish
Can you imagine?
we would be in good shape. We would be in good shape. Okay, so I just mentioned there's some other fees a lot of times when you stay offsite, and one of those is theme park parking.
Yes. Which
So,
is what, $35 a day now?
yeah. So if you are on site and you have a car, like you rent a
Mm-hmm.
car or you drive to Disney World, you can park at the theme parks for free
Yes, and you can park at your resort for free.
and a resort for free. Yes. But if you're off site, you have to pay.
Yes, and sometimes you're paying not only to park at the parks, the theme parks, some resorts also charge you parking. So you can get
Hmm.
hit twice.
Yeah. So if you have a discounted room rate, you're going to need to factor this in if you have a car because it adds to your daily fees. Another is just resort fees.
Hmm.
The Disney World resorts don't have resort fees, but a lot of other hotels commonly do. Not all of them, but
Yes, which
it's pretty common.
very common. And that factors into some of those price discrepancies, right? So Disney doesn't parse out their fees separately. Their prices are generally higher overall. Offsite places tend to separate out their resort fees, and make it explicit that these are the fees that you're paying for. And therefore, like, that cost gets to add in. So I think that starts to make that gap close quite a bit.
Yes, it certainly does. Another consideration that could affect your daily costs is transportation, including like car rental. Because
Hmm.
if you're offsite, you definitely need something. Almost
Hmm.
always need something. You need to rent a car or you need to take rideshare, and so you have to factor that cost in. Versus on-site, you can
Hmm.
use Disney transportation.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that is an issue for some people. There are also perks. And I also want to mention that when we talk about offsite, to me, there's a couple of categories of offsite. There's offsite that is nowhere near Disney World. Like it doesn't really
Hmm.
have views of anything. You can't walk to anything. And then there's other sort of hybrid category that is not Disney owned, but still gets some kind of perk.
Hmm.
So either the perk is that you get literal on-site benefits, which we'll talk about in a minute, or you can walk to Disney Springs, or you have fireworks views, like
You can
something.
walk to the park for, swan, dolphin.
Yes.
Um,
So there's this kind of in-between category that gets some on-site perks, but it's technically not Disney owned. So the perks can kind of vary between them.
hmm.
But there are on-site perks that I think are what people mostly will pay for,
Hmm.
including Lightning Lane booking.
Yeah.
So this is a big one because
Yes.
if you have a delay in booking your lightning lanes, it can mean the difference between getting the rides that you want at the times that you want versus not.
Yes. And it's uh back in the olden days, I think the big one for people was not only, the location and the like Magical Express and those things, but it was being able to do your dining, adding those 10 days. But the lightning lane thing has been a game changer. And not having the full 7 days to be able to get your lightning lanes can make a huge, huge difference, a huge impact, especially on some of the most popular things, especially on single passes, where the total volume of what's available, it can be significantly lower, especially during busier times of the year.
Mm-hmm. 100%. So 7 days for on-site, 3 days for off, and it's the timelines vary a little bit how they're measured too, because for on-site it's 7 days before your check-in day. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not even 7 days before your first park. It's 7 days before your check-in, and for off-site it's 3 days before your tickets begin. So
Mm-hmm.
slightly different ways that those work. Another is early theme park entry.
Mm-hmm.
That hybrid category of Disney World resorts I was talking about, a lot of them do get on early entry. So that's like an on-site perk that they get. Most off-site resorts don't.
Mm-hmm.
They just have to start a regular park entry, but all Disney World resorts get to come in 30 minutes
Yes.
early.
Yes. And that can be a huge money saver in and of itself, because it can eliminate the need for maybe buying a single pass for the day for one attraction, or maybe you'll be able to tour a park without having to do multi-pass at all, because you'll be able to start your morning early, maximize your day, especially for parks like Animal Kingdom and Epcot.
Mm-hmm. A related is extended evening theme park hours, which
Mm-hmm.
is only available to on-site guests at villas and deluxe levels. Like twice a week, you can stay in a park for a couple of hours, just
Mm-hmm.
with lower crowds and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And you can't do that if you're off-site, but you have to be in a deluxe or a villa to do it.
Yeah.
Um, what else is there? There is like certain promotions or just the ability to get the dining plan is
Mm-hmm.
only for on-site resorts, and that includes the kids dine free promo that they've got going on, where
Mm-hmm.
kids ages 3 to 9 get the dining plan for free if the adults buy it. That kind of stuff that you might hear about, you're not going to get that if you're off-site.
Mm-mm. No.
Is there anything else? Oh, we didn't talk about dining reservations, so we talked about lighting lanes.
Yes, so I mentioned it briefly, but it's the ability to make all of your dining reservations, or at least your initial day plus 10, at one time, versus having a rolling schedule where you can make for each time, you can only make it 60 days in advance.
Mm-hmm.
I do an awful job explaining this, but basically it keeps you from having to wake up a whole bunch of mornings in a row.
Mm-hmm. Um, I just was scrolling the list to make sure I had covered it all and haven't yet. The ability to charge to your room.
Oh yeah, that is a nice perk, because this money is free while you're
Yes,
here.
doesn't cost a thing.
It does not cost a thing,
So
or at least it makes it really easy.
that's a cost savings if
Hmm.
everything you charge to your Magic Band is free.
It's free. I wish. But it does it makes it easier. It's one less thing to have to think about. It's not like that's not a make or break, but it is a nice perk. Um, Other perks that they used to have on site that they've taken away, like being able to have your purchases sent back, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Another thing that I wish they would bring back, but now no longer available. There's definitely, though, I think out of all the on-site things, if I was on the bubble about it, if I was even thinking about purchasing lightning lanes, I would probably go ahead and opt for the on-site, especially during a busier time of the year, just for that 7 day advance purchase versus the three.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one. And we will say in 2020, 2021, this time frame, we were like, I don't know if it's worth it to stay on site right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there just were no perks.
No perks.
And in fact, we did stay off site sometimes because we were just like, why not?
Yeah.
But now we feel differently because, of the perks. The last thing worth mentioning is the free water park admission on check-in day. That's only for the
Mm-hmm.
summer, but that's an on-site Disney World thing.
Mm-hmm.
That you get a free water park ticket on your check-in day if you come this summer. And last
Yes.
year it was the whole year.
Yes, which was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing they're only doing the summer because they have both water parks open during the summer. I can
Mm-hmm.
imagine that it would be a semi-popular thing. It lets you not have to burn a park day ticket if you want to get in and dive into the Disney-ness of your trip immediately. So that is I will say a nice summertime perk at least.
Hmm. I think that's all of the perks of staying on site that can be
Hmm.
helpful to decide. But when have, because like your last run Disney trip, you stayed off site. So I want to
Yeah.
talk about when we choose to stay off site versus on site.
Yeah. So our last Run Disney trip, we chose to stay off site. Number one, because Run Disney things are not inexpensive, and staying off site was a way to save money. And we actually stayed at Bonnet Creek, which is right next to Caribbean Beach and Riviera. It's literally this little island of land that is surrounded by Disney property. So it's very conveniently located, but it is an offsite resort. That gave us the ability, since it's a timeshare and we used Verbo, it gave us the ability though to have a little bit larger space and a washer and dryer in the room, which is huge when you have stinky, sweaty clothes from multiple races that you need to wash. So that's one time when stayed off site. Also, when I was first coming with my family, we stayed on site for our very first trip and quickly realized that my boys were too big to want to share a bed, and we just needed more space as a family. And we had a lot more fun renting, villas with uh, full pools and spas, and everybody had their own bedroom and everybody had their own bathroom, and we had a full kitchen, and we didn't have to eat theme park food all the time. So that was definitely a perk as well.
You also, if I recall correctly, liked having a car.
Oh, yes.
So that helps.
Yes. Yeah. Because we would often come down for longer trips because flights were such a huge part of the expense for our overall vacation that we would come down for, 14 days, but we would get, back then, it wasn't too expensive or too bad to get a 10-day ticket. And so we would do a 10-day park ticket, and then we would go to down to Kennedy Space Center, and we went to Cocoa Beach, and we went to Daytona, and we went over to St. Augustine, and we would do that. So it was a way to do lots of things without having a whole bunch of extra expenses.
Hmm. I think people might have some more clues about where you are. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think the reflection in your sunglasses and the music in the background might be a clue too. But yeah, that's a good reason to stay off site. You and I have stayed off site for like longer trips,
Hmm.
rented like an Airbnb, this sort of thing. So there's some good reasons, but it's Disney's making it harder
Yeah. Yeah.
to justify off site. But I can, totally see it. Um, so we have some questions here. Billy says, "Do you have recommended offsite hotels besides the Swan and Dolphin?" We're going to be doing more of this in upcoming trips, staying offsite so that we can learn more about them, particularly the ones in the Disney Springs area, because
Hmm.
they fall in that category with the Swan and Dolphin of being non-Disney owned, but having some
Hmm.
on-site perks. And so we think that could be really attractive, and have heard from people that have stayed at some of them and really enjoyed it.
Hmm.
um, One person recently, they stayed there because they were attending a cheer competition and all the Disney hotels were booked because it was kind of a last minute thing. So they booked one of the Disney Springs hotels and it ended up being a favorite of theirs. So there are some good reasons to do that. Ingrid says if you play the credit card game, if you charge things to your room with the Magic Band, then it gets classed by your credit card company as travel. Yes,
I
that's a
have I have heard that before. That is a great perk, to be able to group all your stuff together and get the your points that you need, or your dollar spend that you need to qualify for whatever you're trying to earn with your credit card.
yeah, I do love that. And I know on like my credit card, they they let you erase some of your travel purchases, and
Hmm.
so it's helpful to have it classified for that as well. Another question: can we use Disney gift cards to mobile order food? Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to show you, but you can practice this at home, where you can just go into the app and act like you're
Hmm.
mobile ordering, and then it asks you to choose a payment method and it defaults to your credit card that's on file, or you can use Apple Pay.
Mhm.
but it also says Disney gift card. You can add one. So I just click the button that says add Disney gift card. Now, the thing that we recommend is that you have it in a note, the number, because that field right
Mhm.
there wants me to type it every time.
Every time.
Yeah, you can scan the barcode. I think that works on the Disney gift card as well, but it doesn't let you save it in the way that credit cards do.
Yeah.
So we recommend Disney gift card numbers being a note on your phone so you can copy paste.
Copy and paste.
Yes. But mobile ordering is one of the things you can practice at home. Just don't hit order and let the charges go through. But up until then, you can. Carrie says, have you used an Apple Watch instead of a Magic Band in the park? Does it work as well for tickets, lightning lanes, dining plan credits, on ride photos, and Memory Maker? Magic Bands for 4 add up.
Yes, in fact, my friend who I was just traveling with, she did not have a Magic Band. She used her Apple Watch. It's called Magic Mobile for what Disney refers to it as. And your Apple Watch or your phone, it's starting to sprinkle. Your Apple Watch or your phone can be used for anything that your ticket can be used for. So it can't be used for things like ride photos because your ticket isn't what gets you your ride photos. It's your, or at least your on ride photos. That is your,
Go sit
uh,
in the gazebo. Go sit in the gazebo.
it's it's closed.
Okay.
I'm wandering, looking for a place where I can get out of the rain. But you can use it for to get into the park. You can use it for your lightning lanes. You cannot use it to enter your room. You can't use it for the lockers on Tron. Those all require either a magic band or a special card that they would give you at Tron in that instance. So
Mhm.
anything that you would use a ticket for is what you can use your Apple Watch for.
Yeah. Heather is a big user of the uh, Apple Watch. And it's only Apple based, right? If
Mm-hmm.
Android users can't use Magic Mobile,
Mm-mm.
right? So if you're an iPhone user, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Ingrid says, Heather, have you heard or observed if the additional 2 hours of green time for lightning lanes is working this week?
I tested it fully yesterday. I was late to every single lightning lane. Sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes almost hitting that 2 hour post my mark. So it would have been 3 hours from the start of my lightning lane opening for both single pass and multi pass. And every single time it turned green. No issues.
Yeah.
This was at Magic Kingdom. It was at Tiana's. It was on Pirates. Um, Little Mermaid, Winnie the Pooh, Tron, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. We used a bunch of lightning lanes yesterday, late every time, no problems.
I think that sometimes they can change this when it's really busy.
Hmm.
So in mid-February, when things were super, super packed, there were reports of it not working. So I think
Hmm.
they can pull it back, but in general, it works. And what's confusing about this is every time we talk about it online, cast members are in the comments telling us we're wrong. And I think it's because the cast members who were standing at the machines don't understand programmatically what is happening to let
Hmm.
turn your magic band or your lightning lane green or blue.
Hmm.
They just know it turns green or blue. And they
Yeah.
assume that you're within your 1 hour window or 15 minutes late, whatever. But we have tested it so many times, and you can be up to 2 hours late usually.
Yes. Yes. And I will say that I am very much a rule follower, and this was very I don't want to say scary because that seems very dramatic, but I did send Jenny through first every time and Chris at first. I would go in third just to make sure that it would actually turn green. But by the time we were done with our day, I felt fairly confident that it would turn green, and it did. It was fine.
Yeah. It's nice because you just don't have to rush around so much.
Yes. And it made it easier to not have to zigzag the park.
Exactly. Exactly. Before you have to frantically miss it. Laura says there's just something about being in the Disney bubble and staying on
Hmm.
site. The cast members truly make the difference. So that is a huge perk of staying on site as well, being in the
Yeah.
Disney bubble. And it's why Walt built Disney World because Disneyland, he couldn't keep people in the bubble.
Mm-mm.
And it's definitely a perk. As much as we love Disneyland, uh, Disney World does have this going for it.
Yeah.
Um, um, this, uh, I love the rule follower thing. I would do the same. Ryan, don't tell your cast member friends that we're talking about them. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I met Ryan on a trip. If Magic Kingdom has extended after hours next week, will that impact us seeing the castle fireworks? No.
No.
So after hours things happen after hours. So after hours events, extended evening theme park hours, these kind of things, they happen after the regular hours. And in the
Hmm.
regular hours, there are fireworks. What you will get if you go to, well, this is extended after hours. They're using the term extended after hours. So I
Yeah,
assume they
so
mean it
extended
extend.
hours.
They're not talking about actual after hours events, but
Mm-mm.
actual after hours events have their own fireworks as well. So if you pay to go to Magic Kingdom After Hours, the event, then you get the regular Happily Ever After fireworks plus
Enchantment.
enchantment.
Hmm.
Um, but if you're a day guest, you're not affected. And in fact, if you look at the calendar right now, you will see that the fireworks are scheduled during your trip. Okay. There was a question. I'm trying to ride Test Track, Frozen, and Remy on one Epcot day, entering via the front entrance. We'll have younger kids, so no single rider. I don't want to crisscross the park, and I will be booking Lightning Lane 7 days out.
I would book. Uh, I would book Remy for my Lightning Lane for my tier one. I would rope drop Frozen, and then I would go to Test Track.
I might go to Test Track first and then Frozen.
I don't.
I
I don't think you're looking at too much of a time saving difference either way. Probably just
Mhm,
what your next step is would probably
mhm.
be your best decision maker. Where are you going after those three rides, and
Yeah.
then make the decision.
After that, it's pretty easy.
Hmm.
Um,
Truly.
but once let's say you have a Remy Lightning Lane for later in the day and you do take Test Track and Frozen, you could then go to Soarin', Living
Hmm.
with the Land. Like it's
Hmm.
pretty easy without having to worry
Yeah.
about long lines. Epcot's pretty easy.
Yeah.
All right. We have lots of just good mornings, good mornings. As many of you have figured out, Heather is in fact in the UK section of Epcot. She's trying to find a quiet place to sit, and then it started raining.
Yes. Yes. And character line forming down there.
Is that
So
for Winnie the Pooh?
you know, I should know, but I don't. I don't know. Somebody down that way will be meeting. It was very quiet when I got here, and then it started getting a little chaotic and a little wet.
All right. So I think that is it for today. I appreciate everybody submitting their questions and comments. It makes it more fun for us.
Yes, yes,
So
definitely.
today is the Q&A on Instagram. So you can always submit questions over there. Anything or most things that we don't answer there end up on YouTube. It takes a long time to get through them. So we might have to start paring down the question list if
Hmm.
necessary. But we try to answer as many as possible. So feel free to submit on Instagram or just follow along.
Hmm.
And then we'll be back here tomorrow to answer even more questions. But
Yay!
goodbye at Epcot.
Bye.